Nope, there we go. Okay, I'm sorry. I needed to push one more button to start the video. It looked like it was going, but it really wasn't. Okay, hang on, family stuff. Hey, I'm the live stream. I just got her up, so she's coming. She was starting to wake up. Okay. All right. Bye. Okay. Sorry, Kristen. Well, this gave Kelly a chance to get here. She was knowing that she was going to be a little bit late. All right. So let's take a deep breath. When we have little glitches like what's going on with the technology today, it's easy for my emotions to start creeping up. It's just an old habit, an old pattern. Things aren't going my way, and so up starts to creep this little bit of emotion, adrenaline or whatever. So inhaling and exhaling to bring the mind and the body back to the center and the ground. All right, let's go over to my mat. I'm gonna do some warm up. I'm rather stiff today. So let's do a little bit more warm up. My go-to is always cat and cow, just to start to feel the body. I'm glad that we have the live stream this morning. It will help me to get into some deeper places because I will know that I'm being watched. Human nature, I suppose. If nobody's watching, we don't do the same behaviors as if somebody's watching. So I have extra stiffness today and I've been extra tired the last few days. Part of that can be an increase of pitta from warmer weather, like since it gets hotter, it changes the internal balance of what's going on. Part of it is Kira has had a friend here that has been totally fun, but I've allowed myself maybe to eat foods that I haven't been eating as much. More wheat, some more meat and stuff, and that I can actually feel in my body. So people might say, well, that doesn't sound so good if you get more and more sensitive, but it wasn't that I wasn't sensitive before, it's just that I notice it more now, and I keep reminding myself that comfort is not my goal, but growth is my goal. So I want to become more and more refined. And that means that I have to keep rules, so to speak, that produce the outcome that I want. And I want to be sensitive and able to tune into more subtle hints that come. So all is well as I just wiggle a little bit more. Let's start with a 3-part breath today. That helps us to start with a calm nervous system when we begin our practice. Really changes the practice. As we lay in Shavasana, comfortably, knees up if needs be, then inhale a third of the air in the lower part of the belly. The navel should rise towards the ceiling. You can put your hands there to make sure. So just first of all, just take a breath and feel that rising of the navel towards the ceiling. So in the 3-part breath, it's inhale a third, the navel rises towards the ceiling, and pause. Inhale a third, maybe your hands go on your ribs, the ribs go outward towards the sides of the room, and then inhale the last third, it's up by the collarbones, really full, and then exhale up by the collarbones, and then pause, exhale the next third, and you feel a collapse in the rib cage, and then exhale the last third, you feel the navel collapsing down towards the spine. So I think that we've done this before, we'll just do it again. So inhale a third, navel, inhale a third, ribs, inhale a third, chest, collarbones, exhale a third, collarbones, exhale a third, ribs, exhale a third, navel, inhale a third, navel, hold, inhale a third, ribs, hold, inhale a third, chest, hold, exhale a third, chest, hold, exhale a third, ribs, hold, exhale a third, navel, hold. Inhale a third, repeat. Inhale a third, repeat. Inhale a third, chest. Exhale a third, chest. Exhale a third, ribs. Exhale a third, navel. And again, inhale. 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 Exhale. 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 Just repeat that a few more times on your own. One more round. On the next round, just try to make it a smooth inhale, but thinking in those thirds, and a smooth exhale, thinking in the thirds. Now I'm going to go to my all fours and keep that breath going. And stepping into a downward facing dog. One more round of that breath. And I'm just going to let that breath go and wiggle a little bit. Kind of go from the high plank and back to downward facing dog, so that the weight is in the hands and then the weight is in the feet. It's a good warm up just to find where balance is. You can bring the feet forward into a short downward dog. Do it again, and that will warm up the hamstrings a little bit maybe. Really breathing still. And if you're ready, come on up to the top of your mat and we will begin our Ashtanga practice. Bringing the attention to the center of the body. Think about everything pulling towards the center. So the legs, like that inseam of your pants, pulling towards each other. There's a sense of pulling towards each other and through the center, but then lifting towards the crown of the head. Bringing the hands together in Anjali Mudra. Breathing. Closing the eyes if you haven't yet. We'll do the full invocation today. Exhale the air. Inhale for Om. Vande Gurunam Charanarvinde Sandashita Swatma Sukhavabode Nishreyase Jankalikaimane Samsara Hala Hala Moha Shantye Havahu Purushakram Shenkachakrasi Darinam Sahasra Shirasam Shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim. Hands to thighs. Yekam inhale. Dwe exhale. Trini inhale. Chature exhale. Pancha inhale. Shot exhale. Inhaling, exhaling. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Sapta, forward. Ashtanga, head down. Nawa, up to the thumbs. Deja samastitihi. Yekam, inhale. Dwe. Trini. Chature. Pancha. Shot. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Lift the core as you come forward. Exhale the head down. Ashtanga coming up. Samastitihi. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, shoulders wide, looking forward. Keep the forward look as you come down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 5 breaths. 1. shoulders, elbows, wrists. And forward. Exhale the head down. Inhale, come up. Exhale, Samasthiti. One on your own. Inhale. Last breath. Surya Namaskar beat. Bend the knees. Exhale the hands down. Inhale, look up, shoulders back. Keep the foot gaze up as you go into Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step forward with the right foot. Inhale the hands up. Exhale the hands down. Lifting from the belly button through the series. Inhale, but especially lifting as you go back to downward facing dog. Lifting as you come forward with the lunge. Lifting the navel again as you step back, Chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, 5 breaths. One, two, three, 4, 5. Lift as you come forward at the navel. Exhale the head down. Inhale, bend the knees if you come up. Samasthiti. Bend the knees, come up. Exhale down. Shoulders back. Inhale, look forward. Keep the gaze forward. Shoulders wide, lifting. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift as you step forward. Inhale the hands up. Exhale the hands down. Now lift at the navel as you step back. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift at the navel as you step forward. Inhale up. Exhale down. Start lifting at the navel. Step back. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 5 breaths. Make sure the shoulders are away from the ears. Elbows working towards each other. Base of the thumb, first finger in contact with the mat. Last breath. Coming forward on the inhale. Exhale the head down. Lift from the navel as you bend your knees. Samasthiti. One more, bend the knees, come up. Exhale the hands down. Inhale, look up, shoulders wide. Keep the gaze up as you step back, lifting the navel through this whole process. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift the navel as you step forward. Inhale up. Exhale down and start lifting the navel. Bring the foot back. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift the navel. Come forward with the foot. Inhale up. Exhale down, start lifting the navel and bringing the foot back. Chaturanga. Downward facing dog. 5 breaths. So even here, that sensation of lifting the navel, but keeping the shoulders wide, so there may be a give and take as you figure that out. Elbows close towards each other, thumb and first finger in contact with the mat. Last breath. Look forward, come forward. Exhale the head down, still lifting the navel, bringing the knees bent as you come up, and Samastitihi. That lifting of the navel is Uddiyana Bandha. Let's do Padangusthasana, feet hip distance apart. Again, that lifting up before going forward to take the toes. Inhale, straighten the spine, exhale the head down, and that lifting of the navel happens the whole time during this pose. Uddiyana Bandha. Keep the breath going, one more breath. 5, inhale, look up. Exhale the hands under the feet. Inhale, straighten the spine further. Exhale the head down, continuing to lift the navel, or another way to cue it is the tailbone lifts towards the ceiling. The weight in the foot is towards the ball, maybe a little bit more. Shoulders are still wide as you breathe. One more breath. Inhale, look up. Exhale your hands to your waist. Inhale, stand up. Exhale, feet together, Samastitihi. Inhale, step out to the right, triangle, Utthita Trikonasana. So feel your spine, the back of your neck, heading towards the top of your mat in this position, while your feet push into the ground. This will create Uddiyana Bandha. One more breath. Inhale up. Second side. Exhale down. So again, elongated spine, but feet pushing into the ground. Breathing. Last breath. Inhale up, going into reverse triangle, Parvarita Trikonasana. The right shoulder is twisting away while the navel is twisting towards the left. So there's a twist in this pose. One more breath. Inhale up, second side. Exhale down. Still trying to elongate the spine, the back of the neck. And 5, inhale up. Exhale, Samastitihi. Extended side angle, Parsvakonasana. It's a little bit wider than triangle. Take whichever version is right for you. Same thing applies, elongated spine, feet into the ground. And 5, inhale up, second side. Exhale as you go into it. Breathing. Maybe a little more of a lunge to a 90 degree in your front knee. the twist. You can be straight up, just working on the twist without locking the elbow on the leg. Same principle. Upper body, right shoulder is going away, navel is going towards the left. So right towards the right, right shoulder towards the right. Breathing, one more breath. And 5, inhale, come up. Second side. So left shoulder going away, navel going towards the right. And 5, inhale, come up. Samasthiti. Prasarita-Padottanasana. Wide leg forward fold. Feet are straight forward or slightly pigeon-toed. In the A version, the hands are on the mat. About the same level as the heels is what you're working towards. Lifting the navel or the tailbone. One more breath, push into the feet, and especially push as you come up. Pause, exhale there, come all the way up. So, and exhale the hands down. Inhale, tee out the arms. Exhale the hands to the waist or the ribs. Open the chest, inhale. Exhale, coming forward. Shoulders, shoulder blades working towards the spine. Another cue for that is the elbows are working towards each other. Try to feel the collarbones wide, but low, away from your ears. Last breath. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale the hands down. Inhale, tee out the arms. Exhale, interlace the fingers behind the back, opening the shoulders. Inhale, tall. Exhale, come forward. Now, on the inhale, you bring the shoulder blades closer together. On the exhale, you can lift the hands a little bit more. So it's a inhale, roll, exhale, lift. Inhale, roll closer, exhale, lift. And there has to be a rolling towards the spine to get the lift. And remembering to lift the navel or the tailbone. Last breath. Inhale all the way up. Exhale the hands down. Inhale, lift out of the pelvis, but then forward fold on the exhale, taking the toes with the fingers. Inhale, straighten the spine again. Exhale the head down into the pose. Lifting the navel or the tailbone towards the ceiling. Slightly forward into the ball of the foot. Last breath. And push into the feet as you come halfway up, straighten the arms, exhale, the hands can go to the waist or just pause and come all the way up. Feet together at the top of the mat, Samasthiti. Bringing the hands behind us in that pyramid pose, reverse namaste. Don't step out quite as far as triangle. Lifting up out of the pelvis, the navel goes towards the front knee, keeping the shoulder blades working towards the center. Breathing, so you can lift the navel. Last breath. Inhale all the way up as you pivot on your feet. Exhale, second side. Shoulder blades towards the spine. Last breath. Inhale up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Utthita Padangusthasana. Bringing the right leg up. You can take the toe or just the knee. And 5, open up to the right. Try to look to the left. Balance can be tricky on that move. If the balance is really a problem, just keep your gaze forward. And 5, inhale the knee forward or the foot forward. Straighten the foot. More important to have the spine tall than to have the foot high. It'd be better to have the toe touching the ground while you're standing tall than to have the foot way up high and be leaning back. Last breath. And 5, second side. Lifting the sternum. Opening up. Come forward, release the foot, the knee or whatever, and just let the foot be forward while the back is straight. And 5. Now to work on this pose, it can be really nice to do this one out of the sequence just when you're standing around, especially just that forward lift. I will sometimes just be standing in line and work on that. You can also put your foot up on a table, a chair, or something, and just practice standing tall with your foot a little bit higher but resting on something. So those are some suggestions to work on this particular pose if that's something you want to do. Let's do Ardha Baddha. Bring the right foot up to the left thigh or the crease or wherever it goes for you. This could also be just tree pose if it's hard to get that up. Trying to keep a straight spine as you breathe. Last breath. Exhale the foot down and switch to the second side. Trying to lift the sternum. And 5, gently bring the foot back down. Vinyasa into chair pose. Inhale, look up. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, look up. Keep the gaze up as you step back. High plank to low plank. Or the knees down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now try to bring both feet forward together. Bend the knees. Utkatasana, chair pose. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, stand up. Exhale, the hands down. Inhale, look up. Keep the gaze up as you step back to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step forward with the right foot in a lunge. Virabhadrasana A or warrior A. Look towards the thumbs as you breathe. And 5. Simply rotate on your feet. Keep your eyes on your thumbs above your head and into the second side. Lunging that forward knee into a 90-degree angle. The knee is working towards the pinky side of the toe or the foot, lifting up out of the pelvis as you breathe. Keep looking at the thumbs. One more breath. And Virabhadrasana B, opening up so that your chest is forward, but you're looking to your left middle finger, lifting out of the pelvis, lowering the traps, shooting the energy out your arms, down the middle fingers, lunging the knee. Now inhale, just straighten the knee, switch to the other side. Lunge your right knee, looking over with your right fingers. Check your traps, they should be low. Energy shooting out. Maybe you feel it in your forearm, the energy. One more breath. And exhale the hands down, bringing the foot, stepping back. Lift that navel as you go through your chaturanga, your downward facing dog, and bring your feet forward so you're seated on the mat, starting with Dandasana, staff pose. 1, 2, 3, energy in the legs, 4, and 5. Lift the ribs up, out, away from the pelvis, and then take your forward fold. If it's in your practice, you can hook your fingers around your big toes, but keep the back straight. That's the main thing here. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, look up. Let's try this hand position. The hands go over the top of the toes and kind of hug the soles of the feet, so the fingers are touching the soles of the feet. Inhale up out of the pelvis again, and exhale forward. Keeping the energy, pushing out the heels and the balls of the foot. Some would cue backs of the knees towards the mat, so that there's energy in the legs. Remember, we're always going for 50%. 50% making it happen, 50% letting it happen. And 5, inhale, look up, change your hand position one more time, maybe opening up like a book. Inhale again, exhale, maybe you have a little bit more depth. Maybe you don't. What matters is the spine being straight, the air moving, energy in the legs. Maybe you can feel the ribs on your thighs. Last breath. And 5, inhale, look up. Exhale, release the pose. Let's do a vinyasa since we did extra there. So cross the ankles, round the back a lot, move forward, push up, and then you're ready to step back. Go through your chaturanga. Purvottanasana. Starting in Dandasana, bringing the hands back, maybe a foot, really opening up the shoulders. This might be as far as you go, or you can go to tabletop, or you can keep the heels on the ground and lift at the hips. And 5, exhale as you come down, cross at the ankles, round the back, roll forward, lift off of the ground, and then step back. And back to seated. Ardha Baddha Paschimottanasana, bringing the right foot up towards the left crease, hip crease, or somewhere along your thigh. If that's too much, it can be further down, but not on top of the kneecap. If you have the bind in your practice, find that bind. If not, just simply hold your foot there. You can do a forward fold or just sit tall. 4, 5, inhale, look up. Exhale, release the pose. Let's do a lift instead of a vinyasa here and go into our second side. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, look up. Exhale, release the pose. Cross at the ankles, round the back, lift up off of the ground, and then step back into your chaturanga. Coming through, Trianjakapada, Paschimottanasana, taking the right foot, bend it back, and you may just be looking for this position right here in trying to get your right hip down to the ground. If you feel able, then lift up out of the pelvis, that's the next step, and that might be as far as you go. If you can lift up and lean forward, then that's the next step. Eventually it's a full forward fold. You can take your left hand and push it like it's a kickstand so that you are getting your right sits bones towards the ground. Last breath. Inhale, look up. Exhale, release the pose. Let's do a lift. And the second side. So the left knee is back, the left knee is forward, the foot is back. And again, trying to find that position where the left sits bones is on the ground eventually. That can take years. Just sitting tall or taking a forward fold. The lift up out of the pelvis is so important before you forward fold. One more breath. And 5. Inhale, look up. Exhale, release the pose. Lift up for vinyasa. To seated Janu Shirshasana. So always starting in our Dandasana, taking the right sole of the foot into the thigh, and the foot is pushing against the thigh against the foot. Again, if this is too much and your foot doesn't come all the way up to your thigh, the main rule is don't put it on your knee, either above or below your knee. Forward fold, but not compromising the back. Two more breaths. And 5. Inhale, look up. Exhale, release the pose. Lift instead of a vinyasa. And second side. Thigh against the sole of the foot, the sole of the foot against the thigh, pushing towards each other. That will create your Mula Bandha. Inhaling tall, exhaling forward if the forward fold is in your practice. So keeping the lift going is more important than the forward fold. If you can't lift out of the pelvis and forward fold, lift out of the pelvis, skip the forward fold. And 5, inhale, look up. Exhale, release the pose, cross at the ankles, round the back, push up off of the ground, step back, chaturanga. Janushirsasana B. We don't sometimes do this one. Bringing the foot into the thigh again, and then you lift up and sit on the heel. This creates a little different angle and allows a different kind of a stretch. So inhaling tall, exhaling into your forward fold if you can. And 5, inhale, look up. Exhale, release the pose. Lift. Instead of a vinyasa, second side. It starts like A, and you can just repeat Janushirsasana A. If you're doing B, lift up, sit on the hill, and then forward fold. Last breath. Inhale, look up. Exhale, release the pose. Roll forward into your vinyasa. Janushirsasana C. This is the one where the toe is down, the heel is up. Always start in Dandasana. This is kind of a nice one to warm up. Bring your elbows around the bottom of your foot and around your knee and just sit tall. So this is a good, it could be a warm up before you start, but you can feel the stretch and then bring the toe down and the heel up. Or you can just keep that stretch going. Whatever feels like the right thing for you today. 2 more breaths. And 5, inhale, look up. Exhale, release the pose. Lift for our vinyasa. Second side. So let's hug that foot again. The right elbow along the bottom of the foot, the left elbow along the knee side of the leg, and just sit tall. Now, if you want to move into toes down, heel up, you can do that, or you can just keep holding that stretch if that's what feels right for you today. Again, lifting up out of the pelvis before you come forward. This gives a different kind of a stretch to the hips once the foot loosens up, and it's not a problem to have the toes down and the heels up. Last breath. 5, inhale, look up. Exhale, release the pose, cross at the ankles, round the back, lift up off of the ground, and then step back. Coming forward again into our Dandasana position. Marichyasana A. Let's bring the sole of the foot on the ground, bend the right knee, space between the leg and the foot. Bring both of the hands forward, backs of the hands together, thumbs down, swim around, and you might be able to take your fingers, or you might want to work with a towel to get the bind, or just sitting in an upright position, hugging your knee is also an option. 2 more breaths. And 5, inhale, look up. Exhale, release the pose, lift for our vinyasa, second side. Doing our little swim, the thumbs are down, and End up in an upward position as the shoulder rotates. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, look up. Exhale, release the pose. Cross the ankles, round the back, lift up, step back, chaturanga. Back to our Dandasanas, beginning of every pose. Let's do Marichyasana B today. Bring the foot up, just like A. Tuck the left foot underneath and see how your sits bones are in this position. Now this might be a good one where you just really lift tall and hug your knee. If you want to do the forward fold, it's like the other where you swim your arms around. One more breath. Inhale, look up. Exhale, release the pose. Lift in between sides. Exhale, down. So right arm, foot is tucked underneath the second side, the left side. Again, you might just sit tall and really hug your knee into your body in this position, or you can do the bind. Last breath. Inhale, look up. Exhale, release the pose. Now from this, I don't cross my ankles. I just come forward into my vinyasa. And seated again in our Dandasana position. Just like A, we're going to bend the knee, but this time the foot is close to the leg, and you can either just hug the knee as you turn towards the right, or if you want to get the elbow past the knee, eventually there's a bind here. Just feel the stretch in the hips, or wherever you feel it. Try to lift up out of the pelvis still, lifting the sternum. And 5, inhale, look forward. Exhale, release the pose. Lifting, crossing at the ankles, lifting for our fake vinyasa and the second side. So again, you might just lift up out of the pelvis and hug this knee and look towards the left. If that's not very much, then the elbow gets past the knee. The knee can be pushed past the straight leg into that position. And just trying to lift tall as you twist. The navel is going towards the right, while the shoulder is going towards, away from you on the left. Last breath. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, release the pose. One more lift. Oh, let's do an actual vinyasa, sorry. Round the back, roll over your feet, lift up off of the ground, and then bring the feet behind you. Chaturanga, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog, Marichyasana D. So all the Marichyaasanas start the same, bringing the right foot up, sole of the foot down. This time the left foot is tucked underneath, and look towards your knee. You're twisting towards the right. So just the same as before, trying to bring the navel towards the left while the shoulder is twisting towards the right. You can go past the leg if you want, or just hug the knee. And 5, inhale, look forward. Exhale, release the pose. We're going to lift for that in-between vinyasa and switch so that the left knee is bent, the right foot is tucked underneath, turning towards that left knee. Either just hug that knee as you twist, or the arm goes past the knee, kind of pushes it away while you twist towards your left. Navel is working towards the right, away from the twist. So the twist happens right at the waist. Lifting the sternum. And 5, inhale, look forward. Exhale, release the pose. Coming forward into, and again, I'm not crossing at the ankles at this point, I'm just coming forward, vinyasa. Next would be Navasana, but we're going to go on to closing at this point. I'm going to get my blocks and do bridge prep. Block between the feet, block between the knees, laying down on your back. Maybe just take a breath or two here. You've been working really hard. Find that position where the tailbone is headed towards the backs of the knees. This makes the low back flat against the ground. This brings the ribs, the low ribs, and the iliac crest close together. That's part of Uddiyana Bandha, is bringing those points together. And just for a second, relax into that without squeezing the knees, and then just release. Do that again. Bring the tailbone to the back of the knees. Notice how that feels in more of a relaxed position. And exhale. And one more time. I feel like I need to adjust my blocks. Rotate the pelvis in such a way that the low back is flat on the ground. And release. This time we're going to add the squeeze at the knees. So back of the knees. Inhale. Exhale there. Inhale, squeeze. Maybe lift your hips as you squeeze. And squeeze. Squeeze again. Keep breathing. Last breath. Give it one more squeeze as you exhale down. Now you might notice that your back released and you come down and you're in an arch. So try to focus again on that. Your hips may not go up as high in that position when you have the iliac crest and the ribs close together. So maybe put your hands there to try to keep that shape. Inhale as you come up. Squeeze the legs, release the glutes, squeeze and breathe, relaxing the jaw, the throat, and the shoulders, just squeeze below. Keeping that shape in the low back. One more breath, one more squeeze, exhale down, and release. Hopefully that time, if it was not like the time before, like mine was, my back was arched, but this time I focused on keeping that back flat in the back. Now my back is arched. I'm going to purposely inhale, bring that back flat on the ground below, feeling the ribs and the iliac crest, keeping those together, squeezing the legs as I come up. Continue to breathe, squeeze, squeeze, breathe, squeeze again, breathe, 2 more breaths, 2 more really good squeeze seconds, and exhale as you come down. Let's do 2 more just like that. You can take a breather here. If this doesn't feel hard, you're probably not doing it right. This is a lot of work. Inhale, tailbone to the back of the knees. Exhale the air. Inhale, lift, squeeze, release the glutes. Feel that squeeze at the knees as well as the shape of the back. Squeeze, release the glutes. One more squeeze and breath. Exhale there, release. The release creates the arch in the back again, the natural arch at the lower back. Nothing that you're trying to do, it's just the natural shape. One more time, inhale, bring the tail to the back of the knees, creating that flat back at the low. Inhale the hips up, squeeze the knees. Rotate the internal thighs so that it releases the glutes. Squeeze, check your jaw, release it if it's tight. Squeeze again. Squeeze one more time, keep breathing. One more squeeze, and exhale down. Let's put the blocks to the side. Bring the knees up to the chest. You might feel a nice stretch down in the glutes. Another breath here. And then we're going to rock and roll up into a forward fold position. Bringing the ribs up out of the pelvis. Maybe tucking if you have a low belly bulge. Tucking that up to give yourself a place to go forward into your forward fold. So again, inhale tall, exhale forward. Inhale, elongate the spine. Exhale, ribs closer to the thighs. Energy out the heels, energy out the balls of the foot. Breathing again. You might find that you can get your ribs down your thighs towards your knees. You can release the neck here, which creates a little bit of a curve, but if your low back is in a good position, that upper curve is not a problem. It's when the low curve is engaged. One more breath here. Inhale, look up. Exhale, release that pose. Round the back, roll forward, lift into our vinyasa. Into shoulder stand or legs up the wall. If you're doing shoulder stand, try to bring both legs up together and then push up into your shoulder stand with your hands. You might need a blanket underneath your shoulders. If this hurts your neck, if you feel nervous about it, we should talk more and get you set up with something that's more comfortable, or just do legs up the wall. We'll stay here for about 15 counts. And that's 5. The tops of the arm bones kind of push in, your elbows kind of push into the ground. That can release the neck. There's another 5 right there. So we're at 10, 11, last breath. Now you can bring your toes behind your head into Halasana. If the toes touch the ground, you can release the hands and interlace your fingers. If in doubt, just keep your hands on your back. I don't think I brought them away from my back for years. So no shame in keeping your body safe. 7, 8. The knees touch the forehead or the temples or squeeze the ears. This is called ear pressure pose, Pindasana. 5, 2, 3 more breaths. 6, 7, 8. Inhale your legs back up, and then you can do half lotus or just put the soles of your feet together. Just keep your hands on your back. Last breath. Now curl up into a ball. Knees could go towards your chest. If you're in half lotus, you can switch halfway through so that you're getting the stretch on both sides. Last breath. And then inhale, we're going to just slowly take our spine down one vertebrae at a time. Come up on your elbows. Your feet are forward, elbows on the mat, hands are flat on the mat, and just open your chest right here. Matsyasana, fish pose. Really try to bring your sternum high. You can let your chin go back. You can even work it so that your elbows go forward and the top of your head goes to the mat. Always lifting the sternum. And 8. Lift your head off of the ground if it's down. Tuck your chin and lay straight down. Uttana Padasana is an ab crunch. Both hands and feet go to 45-degree angle. My low back is bothering me today, so I am just going to bring my iliac crest and my ribs close together and create a crunch without lifting my legs. Maybe my heels will come a 1/4 of an inch off of the ground. This is 10 counts. This helps to wake up the abs. Try to release the jaw if it tightens up. That's 9. One more breath. And 10. Just roll onto your side. Take a vinyasa from here. And a headstand prep, elbows down. They're close together, they're really to be underneath your shoulders. Interlace your fingers, create a basket where your head would go, but don't put your head down on the ground. Just lift your spine. So this is like a big cat back right here. Push your forearm against the mat while you lift into the highest cat back that you can find. Again, this will help you find your core. At the same time, pushing your arms into the mat strengthens your shoulders. If this doesn't feel very challenging, keep pushing your forearm into the mat, keep lifting the spine, and then just lift your hips so that you're on your feet. But again, there's still the lifting like you're in cat back and the pushing against the mat with your forearms. You can release your neck. Your head shouldn't even be touching the mat. Or you can look up towards your fingers. That's fine too. But a released neck is always nice. One more breath if you've got it, and then lower the knees. Now, before you move, look at your elbows. Did they flail out? Just to reinforce, bring your elbows in and just feel that position in your shoulders. Go into a vinyasa. And yoga mudra is next. Either in lotus, half lotus, comfortable seated position, whatever is right for you. Bring your right hand around, thumb down, hugging the opposite ribs and the other side, really coming up out of the pelvis, and then a forward fold. This is 8 or 10 counts. Close your eyes on this mudra. Look to Shiva Jerski, that third eye squat. 3, 4, shoulder blades towards the spine. 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, come up. Padmasana, seated meditation. Bring the hands straight up and the elbows straight and the wrists straight and the fingers straight. The eyes are open, looking down. 10 count breath. Exhale all of your air. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Try to keep your ribs from moving. Exhale. So you're sitting tall, and that helps the ribs to stay stationary. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, this is number 9. Exhale. Last breath, the biggest breath of the day. Exhale. Now just release your elbows, let them sit towards your ribs. Close your eyes and just be for a few minutes. This is just a place to find that internal space of your eternal nature. If your mind goes somewhere else, just gently call it back. Just be. From this very calm state, keep your eyes closed, skip the last pose, skip the last vinyasa, and simply turn onto your back and begin your Shavasana. Keeping the eyes closed in that calm state, straight into Shavasana. If you're ready to begin to awaken, you can deepen your breath. If you want to stay in Shavasana longer, just let my words float past you. Beginning to make small movements and deeper breaths. Maybe stretching. Rolling onto your side. And at your pace, finding your way to a seated position, the eyes closed. Bringing your hands, palms facing apart, hand on top of hand. Finding an internal smile, giving yourself love, compassion, respect. When we give love to that very deep internal part of us, it surpasses ego. Ego makes us feel good because something from the outside tells us we're good. We need nothing from the outside to tell us we're good when we can go to that deeper place. It surpasses the ego. Another term for ego could be something scriptural, the natural man. As we overcome the natural man, we become closer to that eternal part of us. Until the day comes where we are united with that eternal part, and the ego, the natural man, the things that we learn in this world become part of us, part of the eternal part. We become whole. we become perfect. So give yourself a promise with your hands over your heart that you will come to this place every day, that you will find that internal and eternal part. This will keep you safe. This will keep you calm. This will keep you peaceful. An internal smile of gratitude. This practice has helped us so much to learn this very important concept. Hands together in Anjali Mudra now. 3 ohms to close our practice. Exhale all of your air. Inhale. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Namaste.